Back on, Gertie Rude, back again, the Thursday mood. Well, here we are, it's Thursday, and it seems to be rather towards the end of a Thursday, which makes it quite near Friday. Friday is the precipice of a weekend of debauchery and hedonism, you know. Well, that's what I'll be doing. Well, I'll be watching it probably on YouTube, do you get me? At my age, that's the best I can, garner. Anyway, darlings, good news to everybody in the whole of the United Kingdom and, in fact, the globe. The Prince Barry Barrington of Harold Harrington is coming over, you know. He's coming to Blighty next week, darlings. Yes, grab the bunting, my dears. Grab the bunting and just bunt with it. Because apparently he who must be amazed and protected and whatever, 24/7, 365 days of the year, is cometh here. The Lordeth cometh. Not that we want to observe that particular happening, but we've got it on good authority. We're being fated. We're being fated. It's like that time that bloke that used to go around the place in the, what's it called, the Middle East, in your north of your Africa, usually on a donkey. And yeah, I think he was on the road to Damascus or something, wasn't he? Something like that. And then he was riding his donkey into Galilee, at which point he would arise several lepers and cure them. Oh yeah, it's all going to be great stuff. So if you want curing or anything like that, get yourself ready for next week when he cometh the Lordeth from Americaeth, apparently. I mean, don't say I've said. Anyway, he's going to tell you all about it here. Mr. Kevin Sullivan of your Squawk TV. Oh, if you can hear that in the background, my neighbours, for some reason, having knew this, knew that, knew the other fitted, my darlings, was all very unseemly. And it seems to have emanated to become a me problem, rather than just a them problem. But there you go, we like to share in our neighbourhood. So if you can hear any bleeding, sawing and banging and hacking in the background, it actually isn't me. And no, the executioners haven't come round and are at this point sawing my head off my considerably fat neck. So don't worry. Let's jump in and see what Mr. Kevin O'Sullivanio is going to tell us.
Return visits.
Oh, good
yes. He is going to get limited, I'm quoting here, limited police protection. That was always part of his deal, although he's banned from having full armed police protection when he comes back here because he's not a frontline royal.
Ban him, don't let him in, Kev. That's what I do, geese. I mean, what's he coming here for anyway? It's something. What? As Queen Camilla opened her handbag, as Charles got his wallet out of his back pocket, he must have smelt it from Monty Shit Show. So you know, the first thing he's done, he's got himself an EasyJet, hasn't he? Oh no, well, say EasyJet. Well, it is really. It's Oprah's jet, so it is a bit easy, and it's a jet. Right, let's go.
If he applies in advance for some kind of protection, it was always available to him. So he's getting limited police protection.
Listen, I said it before. We need ring fencing from this person, Kevin O'Sullivanio. That's what we need, darling. I'm glad you've given us a week's bleeding heads up. I mean, can we leave the country? I suspect the ferry and the ports are all rammed, aren't they? They are, darling.
But the Kind King, as always, has offered his son a place to stay at Buckingham Palace. But Harry, in what is becoming something of a tradition, has turned that offer down.
Turned it down.
That will force costs up for the Met Police, who will have to watch him at some hotel or something
Oh, so he's getting all grand and above himself now. He's going to the American Review watch place. And hey, when you think of it, what of his crazy new swimming poolie? Hey? Most of us just call the ocean, but apparently over there they call it the swimming pool. I don't know what's going on. But he's $2,000 now. He's far too grand to be coming over here to little old miserable, bleeding, dim and drizzly Blighty. And they only tried to put him up that Buckingham House place at the top of the Mall. Do you know where I'm on about? Round the corner from your Victoriana police station, railway station, you got your Buckingham Gate Road, you got your Pally Mally, and you got your Birdcage Walk. Now, any of those buildings would have been fine, but no, they're trying to get him to slum it at the Buckingham House place at the top of the bleeding Mall. Well, don't blame him, he's staying in a hotel, apparently. Yeah, he's staying in a B&B. Yeah, I think it's one that Chinese Stan knows, you know. I'm pretty sure it is. Chinese Stan knows quite a few people. Maybe he's tipped in the nod. Probably just off of Sloane Square, isn't it, if you think of it? Got tucked round there. Yeah, that's what it is. I've got it all worked out now. Next time I see Chinese Stan, I'll get the goods.
So, meanwhile, his bid to sue the Home Office to demand full armed protection, police protection.
Oh, is he a member of the Sioux Nations too as well? Why are all these men that just reckon they're part of the Sioux people? Sue me, sue you, sue. Sue the court, sue the judge, just sue everybody.
For him and his family when they return to Britain continues apace. It's already cost him about £1 million. He's been told by a judge it will never succeed, and yet, like a dog with a bone, he won't let go.
That's like my Pratt. He ain't got a chance in hell. He's got more chance to see pigs fly. He wants to waste his money. Let him just do it. He's obviously got money to burn, this Barry. Well, he has, hasn't he? I think it's called Archwell, isn't it? Yeah.
Let's talk to the author, former cabinet minister, of course, but also
what's he done
the
now?
author and What Do You Do? What the Royal Family Don't Want You to Know. Norman Baker. Norman, thanks for joining us.
Oh, Norman.
What do you make of this?
I like Norman because I used to see him on your show, whatever his name is, show. Do you remember him on there? Yes, far better than looking at that bloody John Blean Wedger that used to... Well, I just think he applied himself to that show and stayed there glued, wasn't it? Concreted even. And every now and again, he managed to winkle him out and get someone else in the hot seat. And a few times I saw him, this one here, Norman Baker. Yeah, he's the one that wrote that book. The Strange Death of Dr. Kelly, I'll have you know. Because he used to be a Liberal person, didn't he, in the Houses of Parliament. Didn't he? Wasn't he education or something? He was something for the Liberal Party. Anyway, do you remember that Strange Death of Dr. Kelly? Should we not talk about it? Because I am already on the ban, you know, tunnel thing. Yeah. So should we not? We won't talk about that today. Anyway, this is him, and he critiques the royal family, which I love. You know, yeah, people could be critiqued. Anything could be critiqued. Junior. Right, let's go.
So he's coming back.
Yes.
He has, in terms of the agreement he has, applied in advance for limited police protection. They won't be armed. So he's going to get that. He's refused his dad's offer.
He's having police with no arms. Why is he having police with no arms? Is there a girth or dearth? There is. There's an overload. Is there too much of a top heavy supply of people out there that work for the police force and are in fact, well, lesser limbed, let's say. Lesser limbed. Mind you, you know, I don't think that's... I think we should have the flying squad, really, because as I've already said, I'm not going to say it again, ring fence that bugger, ring fence him, and keep the public safe. That's what you're there to do. That's what you're there to do, darlings. Let's do it. Right, come on, Norm, tell Auntie Girl what's going on.
A place to stay at Buckingham Palace. By the way, the police would love him to stay at Buckingham Palace because, of course, it's pretty secure. They don't really want him in some hotel. But it looks as if he will stay in a hotel. Why is it that this petulant man just continues with this court case, demanding armed police protection, which he doesn't want?
Well, I mean, you know, like if you do report a crime to the police, you do kind of expect them to come with some arms, because they do come in quite handy, don't they? So I'm not sure where we're going with that. I mean, even I don't begrudge Barry Barrington having coppers with arms. I mean, even if it's only one's better than none.
Because he's not a frontline royal, no longer a frontline royal. Why does he persist with this, do you think?
Oh, shithead, look.
Well, he persists because you said he's a dog with a bone and he won't let go. But let's be quite clear about this. So far, he has lost in the courts.
Now, I don't want to be a bitch, but I can feel it, a sort of bitchalicious sort of emanating. Oh dear, dog without a bone, dog with a bone's got a dog. Probably not had a bone for quite a few years. Let's move on. Let's not say it on V2 because I'll get myself into trouble.
His case for police protection, and therefore there's no reason in my view why the Met should protect him at all, unless there is an immediate and serious threat against him personally, which I doubt very much. in which case you'd have a duty to do that. But in the absence of that he shouldn't get any protection at all. And the fact that he's not staying in Buckingham Palace, the police should say to him, look, mate, you've been offered somewhere secure. If you don't say it's secure and you want to go somewhere else, not our problem.
Yeah,
because you've turned down a secure venue which is available to you. But listen, here's...
Where did he want to go then? Where did he want to go? You know why they've got him at Buck House? Because didn't it come out they've got tunnels underneath Buck House that lead to all the best wineries, let's say that, beverages, vintners, you know, that type of thing. In other words, gentlemen's clubs. Yeah, maybe that's what they thought. They put him there so then he can go down the tunnels, because he loves a bit of a tunnel going on, doesn't he? What with the P. Diddy parties and all that. Yeah, he's probably here. He's probably in charge of that, isn't he? He's probably training them all up. Oh, while you're here, Barry, give us a gander on how you do the P. Diddy tunnel thing vibe going on. So anyway, you're probably going to get pissed, and it's better to keep him in the tunnels so the paparazzi don't get photographs, because he's touchy. If he sees somebody with a camera, that's where he's opposite to his missus, you see. His missus sees someone with a camera. Wow, it's like flies to jam, isn't it, darlings? It really is. But he sees someone with a camera, he has a panic attack. He has a fit of the vapours. Right, let's go.
Here's a fact, Kevin, which I think Prince Harry, who said he's worried about security in his country, ought to be aware of.
For God's sake.
In the year to the end of March 2023, there were 29 gun deaths in this country, in England and Wales. 29 gun deaths. In America, in 2023, there were 46,728 gun deaths. So, Harry, tell me...
What are they doing on the left? I mean, do you know what I mean? That's the right, isn't it? It's probably your left and my right. It is so vacuous. They do that, don't they? And they're not the only ones. They do. Look, the wars are coming round. Can we just act like complete drips? Let's all click our fingers and stamp our feet and do summit to wellness and mindfulness BS. Hey, let's all act like we're 3-year-olds, so because they're quite infantile. So if we act like we're free, they feel superior. They feel superior, and it would be a good day had by them, really. Not us. Fuck us. We're just here for them. We're here for their largesse. If it wasn't for us needing largesse, well, they wouldn't be largelicious, would they? So we're doing them a favour. We need some smoke, quite a lot of smoke, to blow up a considerable, hiney. Anyway, so where are we now? Oh God, it's still there pretending she's one of the people, right?
Which is the more vulnerable place for you to be, the US or the UK?
And also, Norman...
That pisses me off as well, and I've got to say this, right, I've got to say it. Am I being a bit snippy? But when you go to these countries where you have to wear a hijab, niqab, whatever the word is for that headscarf, yeah, what one does, it is kind of just putting it on, isn't it? Look, I'm doing it because, like, I've got to put it on. It's like if you go to a country where you're not allowed to bathe topless. I did wash up on the shore one day like that. I did. I started off, I was just paddling off of the Sussex Weald, you know, the coastal Weald, right? Next thing, I'd only washed up in Spain with no top on. Yeah, they tried to bloody spear me, they did. Harpooned me right back in the sea, pushed me back out into the ocean. So it's like that. If you're going to go somewhere and you've got to wear like a niqab or like a top or be culturally appropriate, do it properly. Or, here's another idea, stick to your I'm a Westerner and just don't bother. Because that's pissing me off. That is annoying me. You're not the only one. I see Jemima can't do it. You know? See Jemima can't do it. It's annoying. If you're going to wear it properly. Cover your hair. That's the idea of having it. Or... be true to yourself and don't do it at all. There you go. Because what she's doing, she's like, oh, look at me being one of you, cosplaying. I'm cosplaying now. I'm virtually Mother Bleeding Teresa. Or something along those lines, yeah? Right. Let's go.
You will recall that last year, strangely, Harry and his wife, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle,
yes.
Went on these kind of pretend royal tours.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Very odd spectacles they were too.
They were very
One was to Nigeria,
yes.
and the other was to Colombia, two of the most dangerous countries on the face of the earth.
Nigeria was a vanity project. And Colombia, my darlings, well, they didn't go for the coffee. Though I must admit, some of the best coffee I've ever tasted in my entire life, Yoshas, is Colombian, darling. It is beautiful coffee, but I just know they weren't going there for the coffee necessarily. No, I think they were going there to score, weren't they?
You get mixed messages from this guy about his safety and his family's safety, don't you?
We do.
It's either a status symbol thing or it's just being petulant and he wants to get his own way. Either way, we shouldn't be having any truck with it. He's not a working royal. Yeah. He's absented himself from the royal family. He's entitled to do that. If he wants to do that, that's fine. If he wants to go and live in California, that's his entitlement. No one should be shackled to the royal family forever. They don't want to be shackled. But once you opt out of the royal family and you opt out of being a working royal, then you opt out of all the bits and pieces that go with it, including royal protection.
Right. And here's another thing as well. I was going to just say to you about the Duchess of Edinburgh, who is obviously, if you know the British royal family, you know who I'm referring to, was in fact, I'm not saying it, because, I mean, if you've seen me, I'm the bottom of the pile of every pile. If there's a pile, I'm the bottom of that pile. I've got a pile all to myself so I can be at the bottom of it. But she is known as a commoner. Obviously, she's not a commoner. She's probably, in our class structure, she was probably middle class or middle upper class, something like that. I think her dad had a few quid, you know. I don't think they're as wealthy as the Middletons, but the Middletons were rolling in it. They were. They made good. They made good. But Sophie's family, you never hear hide nor hair of her family, because she married into the royal family. Was she the Duchess of Wessex? Yeah, until the Queen died, and then Charles made her the Duchess of... Oh, the Countess of Wessex. Yeah, I knew that didn't sound right. Yeah, she was the Countess of Wessex, and her husband was the Count. Count, I said, ladies, with an O. And so, yeah. But now she's the Duchess of Edinburgh. Now, the last Duchess of Edinburgh was, in fact, our great late Queen, who was the Duchess of Edinburgh before she became Queen. Because when she married Philip, he became the Duke of Edinburgh. Or did she make him the Duke of Edinburgh? She might have made him the Duke. I can't remember now. My brain's so addled. But no, she was the Duchess of Edinburgh. That was her sort of proxy name until she ascended to the throne. So it's quite a thing for a lady who's come from just normal society in Britain, and now has held, or is still holding currently, the position of Duchess of Edinburgh. Like the last person to hold it, female to hold it before her, was obviously the Queen, because she was married to the Duke of Edinburgh. So even though she was the Queen, that made her the Duchess of Edinburgh. But you never hear of anything of her family. I don't know whether they've got podcasts. Have they got podcasts? They might have podcasts. They might always be on all different shows all over the place all at once. But I've never heard of them. I'm sure they probably do mingle and single, because obviously their children, and that's their grandchildren. And what's his name? Edward is their son-in-law. To be honest, now I think of it, I think they might have passed on. There you go, so scrub that. Alright, I'll take that back. Because now I'm thinking of it, I'm sure I read a few years ago, her parents have passed on, or one of them have passed, but they're elderly, do you get me, capiche? I mean, he's like my age anyway, the Duke of Edinburgh, he's my age. The present Duke, not the old one, I mean, he's deceased. So, yeah, let's go.
I think this is what that's about. His whole stance on his royal
we're going to hammer now. We're hammering down next door.
It's about his status. He sees his brother. He sees his uncle, Edward. He sees, of course, the king. He sees the rest of his family here. Everywhere they go, coppers with guns. No. The full Monty.
No.
That's the status he craves. And as you quite rightly say...
Well, no, because I think close personal protection officers, by their very dint of their name, de facto, whatever, carry, small arms. They do. They've only got small ones. They've got the big ones. They've got small ones. They do go off now and again, you see. As we found out with Anne, didn't we? Do you remember Anne? Or was it because that... I think it was after Anne they tried to kidnap Anne, didn't they? Yeah, do you know what happened? Oh, dearie me. When the Duke of Edinburgh found out that they tried to kidnap his daughter in the Mall, he asked if they were all right. He meant the kidnapper. Because he knew what his daughter was like. It's like, damn fool, is he all right? because she mashed him up. She did him good and proper. So, yeah. But they mainly have got close protection people. Obviously, I think when they move the top tier around, so that's obviously Charles and Camilla and probably, what's her name, Catherine and William. But there are times when even they go around without their anybody helping them. They have nobody. They're just like on their own. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say when or how that happens, but it does happen. And yeah, they're entitled to do that. And obviously, they don't like let out a bulletin or let it be known that we will be on our own in Oxford Street. They just do their own shit. But whenever they go anywhere official, yeah, they've always got. I suppose they've got outriders, haven't they? Yeah, I just think they would have. But they've probably got outriders just to clear the bloody traffic. Otherwise, they'd be stuck all day in traffic. So if they got an appointment at like 12 o'clock, they wouldn't get there till about 4 or 5. Can you imagine being lined up outside waiting to meet them when you do the meet and greet because the Royals are coming? And they're 5 hours in the bleeding gridlock traffic going around London. It's not going to happen, is it? So they've got outriders. There's reasons why they move around in the motorcade. Whereas other people, there's no reason for it. And there's certainly no reason for him. He's trying to make it out like he wants to be some presidential figure or some sort of Middle Eastern potentate or whatever they're called. You know what I mean? Oh, look at me. I've got the bleed mark clear. Oh, the old girl, she needs a bit of an outrider. She needs something anyway. So, yeah, it's crap. He won't get anywhere. He's already been told he won't get anywhere. And, of course, is he spending his own money? He's spending his own money to take the case, but the Crown prosecution is using the public purse to fight the case. So, Barry, get back on your bleeding jet, go back to wherever it is you come from, and hush your bleeding lips, because we don't want none of it. Stop dipping your finger in the public pie. Have you seen poverty and deprivation in Britain at the moment, you bleeding cretin? Anyway, I've had enough of that. You've probably had enough of me. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Take care wherever you are in the world. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. And just remember, I love you all, each individually. Bye-bye now.